Hello, my friends. Welcome to My Left Ear. I'm Carrie Freeman, if you haven't been here before, the writer, producer, director, designer of My Left Ear, as someone wrote me. This is a liberal YouTube channel, and that's what we're focused on here. And I throw in sometimes some heartfelt, inspirational things, good evidence, you'll get it. So it is Monday, November 11th, so 11/11/24, and this is called My Left Ear because I get a lot of messages through my left ear. Always have. Please like and subscribe. It helps me, and especially now when we're resisting. So welcome. All right. So, over the weekend, I remembered a kind of a prayer that someone gave me about 10 years ago. And I love this prayer. And I'm going to it's very short, and and it's non-denominational, by the way. Because I think it might be helpful to some of you or all of you. All right, here it is. Anything that comes towards you that is not in your best interests automatically turns around and disappears back into the universe with nothing of you attached. So that's a really good release. And I'll repeat it. Anything that comes towards you that is not in your best interests automatically turns around and disappears back into the universe with nothing of you attached. So that's something that you can use to release the heebie-jeebies when they come upon you. The other thing I want to mention is the top searches on Google, like within the last, right before the election or after, I'm not sure, but this came from Brett Meiselas, and it was on Google Trends. People asked, and it was like this spike, on the graph that went way up. Can I change my vote? So there seems to be already some buyer's remorse. I'm not surprised. So here's the first rune today. Here's the question. Is there another chapter or run for Kamala Harris? And I got the rune. I'm going to show it to you because I don't hold the runes up very often. This is Warrior with the arrow up. Okay, the arrow is up. So, warrior counsels that perseverance is key, especially if the issue concerns devotion to a cause. You bet there's devotion to a cause, right? The message with Warrior, the informational message with Warrior, is when it is telling you that you must let go or sacrifice an old way of thinking. And my left ear was very active today, talking to me during when I put together my outline. And my left ear said she already knows that. And if you think about how smart she is, how pragmatic she is, she already knows that. She's already processing. But I'm sharing this with you. Now, here's some factual information I looked up because I thought you guys, many of you, might be interested, worried. So I looked this up on Google. And I asked, is changing Social Security a long process? And this is what Google told me. Yes, implementing a significant change to Social Security would likely take a long time, as it involves complex legislative processes, public debate, and potential adjustments to the program structure, which often requires congressional action and could take months, even years to finalize. So take a deep breath. This is not around the corner. It can't be. The mechanics will get grunged up. It's just not possible. So I wanted to know, so I figured other people would want to know that also. I'll be mentioning My Left Ear, MLE, a lot because it just kept giving me information today, and I'm kind of going with it here. We're predicting that Donald Trump and Elmo will break up. That romance will break up at some point. Elmo is going to become unpopular. And although I don't think this is a prediction, but I keep this sort of like thing just keeps coming up in my brain that, you know, I want to say it because it sounds kind of funny. Elmo should not stand by any windows for the next few years, okay? And you know what I mean when I say that. He's going to become unpopular. He's going to rub people the wrong way. I don't think that's shocking. You know, I don't think it's shocking, but there it is. You know, the other day, I wrote a tweet because I was so activated and angry and, you know, and about this election that the Democrats allegedly lost. And I received hundreds and hundreds of responses. I mean, they just kept flooding in, and people were reposting what I wrote. So there was a question that was like a very naive question, I think. Did Trump and his team cheat? So I wrote, this is what I wrote. Why would T not cheat in 2024? The crooked salesman said, I don't need your votes, because he knew. He knew. I wrote it twice. This is what he does. And why is Mr. T, being so quiet right now? I think it's more than him picking his cabinet. Is a giant shoe gonna drop? I'm still writing. I wrote, the drums are beating, people. Something's going on. And then this is, you know, I have to say this on behalf of a lot of people. You know what hits me? And you can argue with me. All these readers, tarot readers, spiritualists, psychics, predictors on YouTube, they were correct. They actually were correct. Kamala did win. It's shocking, isn't it, to say that? Kamala did actually win. And I'm not in denial. We did not fathom, let me speak for myself, because I can't speak for other people on YouTube. I did not fathom the depth of the cheating and collusion. I knew there would be some attempts at cheating, but I didn't know how profound it would be with Elon's involvement. But we were not wrong. All these people that you watch, including me, we weren't wrong. How do you like that? Now, how that's going to get corrected, if it's going to get corrected, just need to sit on that and wait. I mean, frankly, I'm still recovering, you know, and I wore yellow today because I just wanted to replicate some sunshine, and I know you people like me in yellow, so it's like my attempt to, like, okay, I'm going to bring some sunshine. Now, here's another one from my left ear. Not all Republicans will agree with Donald Trump or agree to implement his orders. This may come as a shock to him. There's an assumption that everybody's going to go, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Not everybody is. In fact, a lot of the GOP can't stand him. They just want their jobs. They want their money. They want their power. They don't like him. Hardly anybody likes him. So, and that the not all Republicans will agree with Donald or implement his orders, and that includes the military. The military, I believe, is having meetings, the head honchos, and they're preparing to say, no, we're not going to go into that park and shoot people. We're not going to do it, sir. you know, who always likes to say, call himself sir. And there's a good chance he's going to hear no. And we are aware of how narcissists handle no. Not well. Now, already governors are speaking up, stepping up to that microphone and going, no, we're not going to help you with the deportations, sir. We're taking measures right now, and that would be my governor here in California, Gavin Newsom. He was the first one to step up and go, okay, we're having emergency meetings. This guy is not taking over California, and we're not deporting people, and make our day. He didn't say that, but I'm kind of adding that. Make my day. The governor of Illinois, Pritzker, don't you dare. Don't you dare, and more. So governors who are elected, not appointed, are taking positions. And more, we're going to hear more and more of that. There is an opposition, a resistance. Some people like the term resistance. Some people like the term opposition. Choose your drink. And when I hear the term resistance over and over again, I think of like one of my all-time favorite movies, Casablanca, because it was all about the resistance. That love affair was surrounded by the resistance, World War II. So you might want to sit down and watch Casablanca and take some, I don't know, spirit from it. Now I'm gonna talk for a minute about Nancy Pelosi. She made some remarks, when she was trying to get Biden to step down so someone else could run for the second term. She did it, in my opinion, in a way that was sort of ugly and harsh, and I was very offended by her manner of communication and lack of appreciation for Joe. So that was like one, but now another one showed up since the election has been called. And she has come out vocally and said he should have resigned and allowed for a primary. And so I said to myself, excuse my language, well, Nancy Pelosi has kicked Joe Biden in the balls twice now, and publicly. And I'm not liking her that much. She's been a servant. She's impressive. She's strong. But this crap I did not like. And I don't think they will speak again. They have not spoken since the original gaffe with step down, Joe, step down. And then, of course, I believe, pretty sure, she got very angry when he stepped down in a way to make sure that Kamala Harris could step in. Because there wasn't time, as you all know. There were 100 days? And Kamala should have had an additional 3 months at the beginning so everybody could get to know her, and she didn't. So she took on this Herculean task, which she did magnificently, I must say. I'm going to say Nancy Pelosi was wrong, and I don't think Pelosi and Joe will ever speak again. Maybe at the inauguration, if they have to, but that's over. Like a 40-year relationship, friendship, I think it's over. It's very sad. And Ana Navarro, who's on The View, and I really like her. She's so funny. She's so quick and smart. She agrees with me, and maybe you, about Nancy Pelosi. And Ana said what I said privately to friends. If you don't have something good to say, don't say it, especially when it's over. There's nothing good comes from the things that she has said other than, I was right, and I'm mad that we lost, and if they had done it my way, blah, blah, blah. Putting words in her mouth, but it's, it's like that. So she's looking to nail it on Joe Biden. So I did throw some runes, and I said, did Pelosi want a man to run for president? Because I never got the idea that she was that crazy about Kamala Harris. I just didn't get it. I think she stepped up because she had to. It was the right thing to do. But yeah, she wanted a boy to run. You know, I'm being sarcastic. She wanted a male to run for president. I think she thought that was the only way Trump could be beaten. A younger male. I kind of think she wanted Josh Shapiro from Pennsylvania, but I didn't throw runes on it because I don't want to dwell too much on what could have been, what she wanted, but I do want to say that. And she was additionally angry that Biden made this move to ensure that Kamala gets right in and follows in his footsteps. And I'm glad she did. So my left ear, this is the big umbrella for this reading today, okay? Look to the 2026 elections, the midterms. They're scheduled for Tuesday, November 3rd, 2026, and this is the U.S. midterm election. This is where things are going to change, because by then, people are going to be scared. They're going to be shocked at what they're seeing in the news. They're going to turn on Trump. They're going to be, oh my God, what did I do? I cannot believe I voted for him. It's going to spend a fortune on, well, the beginning of deportation. I don't know that he's really going to be successful. I think deportation could be like the wall that, like, you know, 3 panels got built, and there never was a wall. Just like there never was a new medical program. And there's a lot of resistance to this deportation because a lot of citizens know something that Trump doesn't know. It will hurt our economy. Now, shouldn't the president know that? Shouldn't the president know? But he sort of doesn't. You know, he thinks this is just fabulous, shipping millions of people out of the United States, plus the billions of dollars it will cost. So there might be some early footsteps, and then I think it'll phase, just like his medical program and the wall and all these other things, you know, and Mexico is going to pay for it and all this stuff. He's got a big mouth. So there is the rune of breakthrough in terms of this Pelosi question. Did she want a male to run? And I got breakthrough. So breakthrough, and think of the midterms. Think of like 2 years from now. The bright warmth of the sun as it breaks through final barriers. Okay, that's the final barriers. And it's about being able to break through that which held you back from progression. And what I really got when I was working on this outline yesterday and this morning were the midterms. And we should hit the ground, and probably have already, because I'm not in Washington. I know no politicians. That this is the road now. Let's build this and do it right for the midterms, because he's going to ruin himself. You know, he's going to ruin himself, and he's going to meet up with a lot of opposition that he didn't expect to. I mean, he thought he would just step in and snap his fingers, but there are a lot of people fighting, and some Republicans too. So the midterms with breakthrough, it's akin to being released from a quagmire, and we are in a quagmire now. And the sudden release when the midterms come will propel us forward and help us find that balance again. It says, when light pierces the darkness, regarding 2026, the searcher's path, that would be the Democrats, is illuminated. Each day is a new beginning. They're moving, they're shaking, they're operating, and it's a new start. And the Democrats must use each day now to work towards that end. And the runes offer us this. You may not understand why you are being pulled in a certain direction, why we lost. Only that you know breakthrough encourages you to let go and follow the call where the path goes. There are turns in this path, and the final result can't be seen. You know, I think there's actually a chance Kamala may run again. I'm not sure of that, but it keeps coming up for me. I just saw a cat get up on this high fence out there. That's like I'm looking at my porch. Not my fence, but someone's fence. Okay. Within a year, because I got the rune of fertility, within a year, and I don't know when, it could be in a month, it could be 6 months, something is going to happen. I'm calling it a surprise. I've been calling it a surprise. This is before I ever pulled this rune. And it's going to make Trump very unpopular. The runes say, you now have the strength to achieve completion or resolution which opens your new beginning. And I stop and to just tell you this interesting little story. I was talking to, I made a Twitter friend in Tampa, Florida, and we've talked a few times and we've emailed, and she's a grandmother, sharp. She was a school teacher for years. She's super smart. And I said to her on the phone, I think it was the next day, or maybe it was 2 days after the election, I said, Laura, there's gonna be a big surprise. And she said, oh my God, that's what my husband said. I said, really? She goes, yeah, my husband can say, you wait, honey, there's gonna be a big surprise. And then this is what I wanted to share with you. She said to me, his mother was a psychic. My husband's mother was a psychic her whole life. She did cards and readings and tarot. And I said, well, then you know what? Your husband inherited that. That's really cool because I believe it's handed down. So, I mean, think about the gypsies, and I think about my own mother had this weird intuition, and we could communicate long distance. But this woman's husband had told her the same thing. And I went, okay, that's clarity. So there's a surprise. Now, I don't know what it is. I mean, it could be that they really find the evidence of the cheating. I mean, really find the evidence of the cheating. Or they really find the evidence that the assassination attempt was bogus. And I'm talking about evidence. You know, I like that word, evidence. They need evidence for that. So we just got to wait. But don't forget, there's going to be some shocker that's coming down the pike. So that's that. All right. Now, regarding the midterms, it signals an emergence from a closed state. As we resolve and clear away the old, we are released from this closed condition. And in this closed condition is the seed, the planted seed, which is boundless, just like the acorn becomes an oak tree. So it's the energy of beginnings, and change will be in the offing. And it's actually starting now, even though we won't nail it down and see it. But the advice is be prepared and centered and wait your deliverance with certainty. And then we've got protection here. Protection knows when it's time to retreat and consolidate. And that's what the Dems don't need to retreat, but they need to consolidate and really come up with their game plan. Okay, how are we going to fix this? And what's the plan? And there's a lot of good people working. So the runes advise control of emotions. It's a little bit difficult for me, but I'm working on that. I'm listening to this. During times of transition and change, it's important not to collapse yourself into your emotions. New opportunities and challenges are typical of protection. All right, so I got a note from one of my valued subscribers, And it said, "Hi, Carrie, I watch you all the time and I love your videos. We were both upset when Biden decided not to run, but it was for the best. Essentially, it was for the best. I agree with that. Now I have a big question to ask you, and you can say no if you want, but she thinks Biden needs to resign right now and turn the presidency over to Kamala Harris." And a number of people are talking about this, because Harris would then be president. She'd be the first, female president. And she could enact, some legislation or choices. And so my subscriber, I'm just checking what she said. My subscriber wrote Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, Ted Lieu, Swalwell, about this. And what I want to tell her and you, that I'd bet money that Joe will not resign now, even if this is a really creative, very creative idea, and a bit of an FU to the GOP, to Trump. But if we look at Joe Biden, he's very traditional, and he wants to be seen as traditional. He's actually done this monumental thing that I can't fathom, because he's a bigger person than I am, but did the traditional of inviting Donald Trump to meet him in the Oval Office, which is, oh my God, that's got to be the worst situation. But Biden will rise above it. I mean, he's a spiritual man. He's a religious man. He has faith, and he's just going to face it with this kind of authenticity that he has, and ethics. And he might try to drop a couple of suggestions on Trump. So he's too traditional to step down. He's not built that way. So that's your answer from me. More than ever, I got to say, I can always be wrong. Kind of want to say that more and more. So my left ear thought, well, one thing is perhaps it's Kamala's time to lead the resistance / opposition. But I pulled a rune, and I got the rune of warrior. And I want to say there's another sister act for Kamala Harris. And we'll watch this. We will watch this. Clearly, there's big intelligence operations going on behind the scenes. We can't know what they're looking at. But at some point, the pundits who are on MSNBC and CNN and all the news shows are going to seem very foolish for not talking about the fact that this election was corrupted. And also the GOP. They're just going to have egg on their face, big omelets on their face when they find out that Trump did not have a tsunami. He did not sweep it. And that's in the future. So now we're down to good evidence and quotes. And the good evidence is very simple. The opposition / resistance is ready, in all caps. It's ready. It has begun. It began, 5 days ago. Just take that to heart. So now, here's a quote by John Kenneth Galbraith. It's from 1967. He was a Canadian-American economist, diplomat, public official, and intellectual. And just a side note, he was 6'9". His books on economic topics were bestsellers from the 1950s through the 2000s. He said, the modern conservative is engaged in one of man's oldest exercises in moral philosophy. That is the search for a superior moral justification for selfishness. I mean, like, bam, right? Bam. They weren't using narcissism, that word, that term, back then. And then, you know what? I came upon like a quote on Instagram that I want to share with you. It has a little bit to do with grievance and where our energy goes. And I'm going to read it because I was told to read it, and it's going to just resonate with some of you, I hope a lot of you. So here's the quote. And I believe it was from a psychologist. The most powerful way to end something that no longer serves you is to starve it of your attention and energy. By consciously withdrawing your focus from what's draining or holding you back, and instead directing that energy toward new goals, passions, and opportunities, you create space for growth and transformation. It's about letting go, not with force, but by simply shifting your focus to what truly matters. In doing so, you starve the old and nourish the new, allowing positive change to naturally unfold. So let us look at what's possible and prepare for the midterms and support all the good people that are out there. I have a Patreon show. I think I'm going to do the video tomorrow because it's kind of a lot to do 2 of them in one day, and now it's getting late and I'm going to start losing the light. So there is a Patreon coming in the next 2 days that I look forward to sharing with you. So that's it for now. I'm still, honestly, I just slept for 2 or 3 days, to be honest with you. I hate to admit that, but that's what my healing has been about. Just resting from all of it. And I'm feeling better, and I'm wearing yellow. And Petey is sound asleep on the sofa. I just didn't want to disturb him. I'm not going to pay him for today. If he's not going to work, if he's not going to get up here and earn his keep, I'll feed him, but I'm not going to pay him. So I'm sorry if you think that's abusive. But he's cheating you, and he's cheating my left ear. You hear that, Pete? Okay. Be kind to yourselves, and remember to send anything negative that comes towards you back out into the universe with nothing of you attached. Okay, my friends, make peace, make good memory, keep the faith.